Here we have the election ward boundary adjustment process. This is very interesting.
It is interesting, Mayor Peck. Thank you very much. Don Quintana, City Clerk. I have a brief presentation for you all. It doesn't vary much from what's already in the council communication, but we thought it'd be a good idea to just run through some details about redistricting for the public and just for our own, refresh our own memories. So what is redistricting? Redistricting is a tongue twister, and it is the process of drawing the lines of districts, or in our case, wards, from which public officials are elected. Through this process, people are obtain accurate and are we accurately and equitably allocate representation based on changes in population and racial diversity. Why are we doing this now? Basically because the charter requires it. According to Charter 2.6, we're required to look at our boundaries every 10 years. The last time we did this was in 2012, so here we are 10 years later. We've also seen the census be completed in 2020, and we have updated population information. Additionally, the state, as you all know, did their redistricting, and the counties earlier this year also, as you know, implemented their redistricting and updated even our own precincts. So now that all of that information has settled, it's our turn to take this process on. And as you'll see in one of the maps that we included in the packet, this is just population numbers, but the blue area is Ward 1, red area is Ward 3, and the yellow area is Ward 2. Our population numbers are not balanced in this graphic. So Ward 1 has 36,000 people and some more. Ward 2 has 34, almost 35,000, and Ward 3 just under 28,000. So not balanced. We did not pull the registered voter numbers for each ward. We are working on pulling those layers of information down, but we wanted to get some information from you all and see what you all think before we get too deep into this process. So we've worked with GIS staff in the planning department. Karen and Crystal and I and Sandy has been a great help and been working on looking at this data. So I'm going to show you the three options that we've come up with and how those look in terms of the deviation that Karen talked about. So here's option number 1, and you can see the hash marked. Let me see if I can do it. These little precincts with hash marks are the ones that have been moved. These are the affected precincts. So in this particular option 1, all of the population and voter deviation meet the 5% deviation, or within the 5% deviation. But you can see there are 5 precincts that have been shuffled around in option 1. Option 2 is a slightly different version. You can see we moved those couple precincts right here in the middle of town. Just 2 precincts moved. All of these population and voter numbers are within the 5% deviation range. So a different option, but still keeping us within our acceptable deviations. And then the third option we have come up with, as Karen noted, are the people on the borders. You can see here we've swapped out 4 precincts in this one. And this one is a little bit higher deviation, mostly in the, if I remember right, in the voters in Ward 2. Still within the 10%. This is about a 7% deviation, so not a huge deviation, but still within acceptable range. So the parameters we have to follow are we must strive to keep an equal population in our wards. It does not have to be mathematically exact. That probably is not too easy to obtain, but as close as feasible. Maintain racial equality. No gerrymandering is the bullet point there. Wards should remain compact or as compact as possible in order to maintain balance in those population numbers. They should be contiguous. We should not have, a gap between two portions of a ward. We also will preserve boundaries of existing precincts. So our precincts that showed in our map, we would not draw a line through the middle of one of those. We will maintain those boundary lines. We also want to preserve communities of interest. And we will comply with local, state, and federal laws, of course. We would not draw lines to favor or disfavor a political party. And ideally, we would not change a seated elected official, move them out of their district. So we would hope not to do that. The goal of the process is to adopt a new ward map that is done by you all by ordinance. The way we see that kind of working in general terms is we go to the drawing board, create some maps, some options, take that out to the community, to council. We're looking for your feedback about how you would like that to run, but gather input on those options, go back to the drawing board, implement some revisions, and bring back final maps for comment and then for adoption. So somewhat of an iterative process, create some maps, get some input, fix the maps, more input, however many times that takes. Here's our possible timeline, again, striving towards July 10, 2023. Our plan is to get these maps and information out on Engage Longmont so people can go out there, get informed, give us feedback on all of these options. We're working with our community-wide communications team on that. We will be holding some public meetings, in person and virtual. The first one will be Tuesday before council here in the Civic Center Mall. We'll do some in January. We'll do one virtually for those that aren't maybe comfortable coming out in person or aren't able to. Try and also to get different days and times to get a variety of people. So we'll get information on the website. We'll use all of our normal informational outlets, social media, City Talk, City Line, all of those good things. We have lots of outlets. So we will inform everybody as we go along. And just a reminder, our deadline is July 10th, 2023, if and only if we want these boundaries to apply for the November 2023 election.